Hi, I'm Gia Mills and I've been a celebrity makeup artist for the past 20 years. I am fascinated by the power of makeup and the politics of beauty. In True Reflections, you get to peek behind the curtain and find out what your favourite celebrities really feel about their appearance when the glare of the media is upon them. Who is my guest today? Well, my guest today has joined the cast of the Real Housewives of London as it comes to the city on Hayu, 20 years after the first OG Orange County series. As one of London's leading ladies and owner of her own aesthetic clinic and skincare range, founder of Amanda Caroline Skincare and Amanda Caroline Secret Door Clinic in Belgravia, I'm delighted to welcome the woman who has the longest legs in Belgravia and who may look like a model, but she's a CEO. It's Amanda Caroline Cronin.
Hello, love. How are you?
Hello. Very lovely to see you.
You too.
First of all, what I always love to find out, it's a beauty podcast. What makeup and what are you wearing on your face today?
Yeah, so I'm not brilliant at doing my own makeup. I have an incredible glam team. I mean, you've been a part of it, during the series, and thank you for your beautiful work in the Cotswolds.
You were a delight to work with. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. So I'm not really that good at makeup. I've never been trained. I haven't really done any courses. I'd quite like to do a course actually, because sometimes we do have to do our own makeup again, but quite rarely. So I really lean into experts. But this morning I've done a sort of a bit of a look that I'm able to do, which is a lighter look. So you want me to tell you what I used this morning and what I did?
You can mention your products.
So obviously, I had my shower and I went in with my beautiful Haute Rose Cream Clay Foaming Cleanser, and then I put on my cream and serum from the Amanda Caroline range.
I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more about this because I've heard so many good things about it. So it's really fantastic.
Well, it's only good. I create. We can talk about why I created it, how it works. It's interesting. So I did my cleanse. I put on my serum and cream. So that's a great place to start.
Good canvas.
Makeup needs something to grip to, and I created these products to work with makeup because I'm a makeup girl.
Yeah.
And I like to sort of go from very, very natural with hardly anything on. I think I look great without makeup, actually, probably more youthful.
I've seen you without makeup.
Yeah, I like myself without makeup. I'm not trying to cover anything up.
Well, you've looked after your skin. So I think if you look after your skin and you do good skincare, as a result, you don't need as much makeup. You can go have fun with the eyes, etc., but you don't need so much on the skin. So you can come across. It's not all sort of heavy.
Well, that's one of the reasons I created my brand. But we can talk about that in a second. But this morning I just did my base and I put on my cream and serum. So that's a great sort of the makeup's going to Velcro the product. Most rich creams, if you put them underneath makeup, the makeup will slip, slide and pill or ball and part. Okay, so not with Amanda Caroline. So interestingly enough, my formulation team, obviously with my brief, I said I really want it to work well with makeup. So I put the base on of the Amanda Caroline products, and then I love to go in with a Strobe Cream.
Yes.
I'm obsessed. I'm such an OG when it comes to MAC.
You use the Strobe Cream, which I used to use years ago.
Still a great
MAC is fantastic. It's
a great brand.
There's so many new brands.
Well, it's owned by Estee Lauder.
Exactly, and
they know brand in the world.
They know what they're doing. Yeah, and I love that. So you're using the Strobe Cream.
So I'm going in with Strobe Cream, which I'm liking again. When I was modelling, it was all about MAC in the 90s. And one of the reasons we were into MAC was because they gave us a 40% discount as models. We just went in with our card and they'd give us that. So I've always been a MAC girl, but I've revisited it again lately because there's so much offering out there. So I'm going in with my MAC Strobe after the Amanda Caroline products, and then I went in with my Studio Fix, also from MAC. There's a very sheer one. I'm going to say, I think it's N3. Okay. And it's very sheer. It's a very sheer, buildable product. I've got a lovely Laura Mercier concealer, which I really love, and I need to get another.
The camouflage.
Concealer for me is tricky because I always feel that concealers can be very dry and aging.
Yeah.
And I don't have bags under my eyes, and I'm not dark under the eyes, so I'm quite fortunate.
I don't
really need.
If you don't need concealer,
so I don't do that much.
Yeah.
And I don't really. I know how to apply it, but for me, once you put on concealer, I always feel you've now committed. You've got to go the whole hog. Do you know what I mean? There's a point where you're committed and you've got to just do more. So I went in with a little bit of Laura Mercier. Then I got out my new two favorite cream liquid eyeshadows from Armani.
Yeah.
In two colours that I saw from a TikToker. They were quite difficult to get. I think the cinnamon was quite difficult to get.
They look very creamy on the
They're very creamy. They come with a stick. You can either put it on your hand and then apply it with a brush or just tap it on. Because I've got hooded eyelids just genetically. I've had them done once. I'll do them again. I'm sort of due to do them again, but I'm not really down for...
twice. I didn't know.
You can have it done as many times as you like because this, weirdly enough, the skin just grows back again.
It grows, does it? No, I didn't know that because there's...
We're going to talk about plastic surgery a little bit. I know, because one of the questions, and I'm really open about everything that I've done. Eyelid surgery, blepharoplasty, is a great surgery for hooded eyelids. And if you go to the right person, you know, you need to go to an ocular plastic surgeon and they know how much skin. It's not about how much you take away, it's about how much you leave behind. You know, I'm in aesthetics. I have my own aesthetic clinic and I work with doctors and plastic surgeons and experts in the industry all day, every day since the last sort of 3.5 years. So I've become an authority.
You know where to go. And
beauty, aesthetics and plastics, and obviously in, you know, in the wellness space. But so you can take the skin off and it helps. In the meantime, when you're doing makeup, I'm really surprised that people don't know how to do a hooded eye.
Well, no, the hooded eye is really easy. You have to put the makeup on with the eye open so you can see where the crease is, and that's where you place it.
And if you don't get that crease, I think the eye will always look a bit, you know...
Well, it doesn't look framed, and it doesn't... You want the dark pushes it, the skin,
you need to bring it forward,
and by having that means that the eye will come forward. So it's amazing, but it looks very creamy. And
so I put that creamy Armani product on. Upper and lower, and then I've got an amazing new pencil that I bought at Hotel de Cap. They've got a great store at the hotel, and you know a brand that I love by Terry.
Is the
Hotel de Cap, Eden Rock, Cap on Tea, exactly. So I was there, and my friend Christina went into the store, and she came out with this amazing eye. I'm like, "What have you done?" She said, "I've just been in the store, and they've just given me all these products, or sold her all these products." I'm like, went in, copied her. I find it very difficult today to find any makeup brands that understand mature skin.
Yes.
Skincare also, brands don't understand mature skin. They might say anti-aging on the bottle, but they don't understand what the need from the consumer. Products that really work.
Has to stay, has to be creamy.
It's the payoff. You don't have the payoff. As the skin ages, it just becomes, with the makeup, just melts. And disappears.
There's a lot of makeup that there are some products that are good. It is finding it's the tricks and knowing the tricks to do, and it's tricky for yourself. But I think when you've got your glam squad, that's great. But when you're doing it for yourself, it's just like
finding an eye pencil that has payoff.
Yeah,
very challenging. Finding eyeshadows that have any payoff. And every product really just seems to melt into the skin, and it doesn't give that oomph that you need, especially, you know, I'm 56 years old, I'm turning 57 next month.
You look incredible.
Thank you so much. Well, I do my best, you know. I went into my show recently with no Botox. I don't have any filler. If there's any filler lingering from the past, you know, it might be nothing.
And you have no Botox.
I had no Botox for the whole series. But I did some Botox
What
after.
you do have is knowledge, because I mean, this is like...
I went in with makeup and I said, just like me well. And I went in with my good skin and my great skincare and my clinic. And that was me. And great hair, which always helps. And great clothes.
You have a clinic.
Yeah.
That is your clinic. So you can go to the clinic and they can do, I guess,
didn't have time.
The peels, all the nuts.
I didn't have time. I didn't feel the need. I just went in very kind of like, take it or leave it. Take me as I am. You know, I've got a wrinkle. I have, you know, some lines. You know, I can do, you know, sometimes some laxity on the lower face. I'm 56 years old.
Well, you've got to look vaguely real.
Normal. So if the light's great, I look great. And if the light's bad, I don't look so great. But that's real life.
You look incredible.
Thank you.
What I want to know, going back, because I think it's always interesting to see where people came from to get to where they are now. When you were younger at school, were you into beauty? Did you use makeup products? Were you into that kind of world then?
Massively. So I grew up on a country estate, you know, in Hampshire, and I'm a real country girl. I went to village school. You know, we had apple orchards all around and tomato fields all around and strawberry fields. That's how I grew up. I had an idyllic childhood. But fortunately, we had a very big city, which was 20, 25, 30 minutes on the bus or, by car down the road. And that's where I went to school, Southampton.
It's a lovely
big
place.
city.
Yeah.
And that's where I went to school. And we had, Southampton's always had I'm not saying so much today because Southampton really didn't rise. In fact, when I grew up in that time in the 80s, Southampton was really booming. And there was quite a lot of Lux around and lots of, so it was definitely more booming than it is today. And we had an incredible high street. So I used to get on the bus. My mum would drive me to the bus stop. I would get on the bus to Southampton, get off at the bus station, walk to school through the high street, and again on the way back. So on the way back to the bus stop, we would pass Topshop. There was a shop called Bus Stop back in the day, which was amazing. But we had a Miss Selfridge.
Oh, loved Miss Selfridge.
So Miss Selfridge was for us so iconic back in the day, and every single day after school, I would be in Miss Selfridge trying the makeup, trying on the clothes, if I had some, pocket money or whatever, buying a little Tweetypie yellow eyeshadow.
I mean, you didn't.
Yellow.
One didn't know what one was doing, but you loved it, and you looked in the mirror
Purple
like, I
lipstick.
look gorgeous.
Hot pink blusher.
So these are your makeup fails. I love hearing about this.
Yeah, so the makeup fails were real because these were the products, and
they weren't very good.
They were just for everybody. They were iconic. They were little tiny products, and they used to do cream sticks with shimmer. And then, I would experiment with hair because I've got long straight hair, naturally dead straight. I'm naturally blonde, although now I'm, colour my hair completely. I'm completely grey underneath. But so it was a lot about experimentation. I really heavily got into hair, makeup and fashion. By the time I was 13, I was taking the fashion from shopping at Miss Selfridge, makeup, clothes, and going to the village disco.
Nice.
In the leg warmers, in the hazy fantasy skirts,
but
or the new romantic look, on the dance floor, getting all the attention, looking 10 years older than I was.
You are a very attractive woman. You modelled when you were younger as well.
I was a model for 15 years.
Have you found being a very, very striking, attractive woman has been actually a hindrance as well as something that's helped you in life? But how have you managed to sort of those two things that can happen?
I never thought I was attractive at 13. I was overly tall and overly slim. So when I started at my convent school in Southampton, when my sister was already there, I was painfully thin. For me, I didn't feel attractive whatsoever. And I used to wear like 3 pairs of socks to school because my legs were so thin. And but I think other people saw that I was attractive. And I remember my aunt always saying to my mum, "Oh, she could be a model. She's really like," and I didn't know what that meant because we didn't really have magazines at home. I didn't really understand any kind of culture to do with modelling. I'm living in the countryside, detached. So I didn't understand.
And no social media, so you didn't get that sort of connection apart from seeing your pop bands and stuff. There wasn't much.
I never thought I was attractive. I thought quite the opposite, and I was bullied a lot. So I would go to the village disco and try and fit in. But I was the girl was sort of with the big house in the countryside, and a lot of the locals were, some of those girls, they were mean, you know what I mean? Those country girls were quite hardcore. So, but also because I was so much younger than them, so they were probably more 15 and 16, and I was like 13.
Going in at 30.
Yeah, trying to fit in.
Than most.
Yeah, probably a lot of the boys were probably paying me attention. I wasn't probably talking to them or whatever, but probably the girls knew that the boys were looking at me, which I didn't really know because I was just there to dance and dress up, Anyway, so they got very, very jealous. I remember the girls at the village disco. And
do you still get that now? Do you still find
So that was, they kind of attacked me one night. I was attacked when I was 13, and I had a stiletto in my face, and I had a big scar there, like a triangle. So I could have been blinded. My friend was with me. They attacked her as well. And she was like 11.
Do you know why?
So my friend tried to stick up for me. She was even younger than me.
Why did they attack? Do you know why they attacked you? Just because they were being bullies?
Those were there was a set in the countryside, and these girls were tough, and they were a little vicious. And I was, again, sort of, I don't know. They just thought they could do that. So I think that was the first time I realised that
do you think that
I was attacked over the way I looked. Yeah.
Do you think that's prepped you well for the Real Housewives of London? The fact, it's women can be very, territorial and, you know, we don't hold prisoners. Do you think that sort of set you up to sort of prepare for the world, the greater world that you came into and into the show?
So, you know, I started modelling at around 17 years old, and I do think I've had a lot of jealousy from women, I'm not going to lie. So if you ask me if beauty's been a benefit or not, of course it's been a benefit. It's propelled me, you know. It's of course it's amazing to have been, you know, gifted good looks and whatever, but that's not what it's all about. As I say, you know, I think probably after I was attacked, it did knock my confidence. And I think that after that, I definitely didn't really want to shine. And I was very wary that I could make girls jealous and that there was jealousy out there and people could be jealous and mean. So I think I've tried to make myself smaller.
Interesting.
My whole life to try and fit in. And that's, I think, something that today women and men can relate to. We in the world today, we're not making ourselves smaller, and you'll see me today.
You don't make yourself
everything that I do, and I'm making myself as big and bigger. I don't need to make myself bigger. The thing with me, I've got natural charisma and I've got a lot of presence, and when I, you know, people feel my energy, and when I come into a room, it's always been the same thing. You know, I've got an inner light, I've got an inner presence. You know, I'm a woman of faith, a godly woman, I'm practicing Christian. And I do have a lightness about me and a charm and a charisma about me. That's the way I am. So when I've walked into a room, people have felt my energy and have been attracted to my energy and my light. And then that can make some people feel uncomfortable who are trying to get attention, and might feel that I'm taking the attention away. But for me, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just showing up.
It's really interesting because when I came and did your makeup, and you know, I get told this person, I'm going to go and do their makeup, and I look at them on social media, and the difference between what the perception was on your social media to what you are in real life and how gorgeous you were when I met you, it was so different. And it's so, I think women can have such a perception of what, based on how someone looks, what they're going to be like. And then I met you and I was like, because you don't know until you meet someone. And I was like, wow, this woman, we had such a lovely time, such a lovely chat, and so much warmth that came out of you. It's often, I think, women overjudge people too quickly without really giving that, giving them a chance.
I think understanding women is a big part of it, and I have learnt, you know, to understand, and I hope women now understand me more. And this show is a great platform to get to know me and know my own narrative. I had a lot of negative things spoken over me, a lot of jealousy, a lot of lies that have been spoken over me in my life in London. So I'm happy to set the record straight about that, and the show gives me that opportunity. But going back to the fact that, you know, I was just a shy girl. You know, you can see from photographs when I was younger that I can't make eye contact with the camera, very, very shy, always looking away. So modelling didn't really help me with that shyness, because modelling is just a job and you're just performing in front of the camera, delivering, you know, good images for your agency. So the shyness has always been there, and the uncomfortability around people, but because I probably lost a trust somewhere along the line. So I became socially anxious because of the way that I was being treated sometimes, that made me sort of a little bit nervous to go into social situations. I think naturally people think I'm confident because I can overcome it, and I have overcome it now, but I've had decades where I've really struggled to be around people that I don't know, and to go into a room full of people, you'll see me on the edge, sort of finding a base camp, sitting there, and you know, obviously, you know, people do gravitate towards me, or I might arrange to meet some friends, but I'm not that person who's going to get in the mix and mingle.
Which is not the perception one would think. And do you feel that you felt...
So the warmth is interesting that you said, to people that get to know me, understand that I'm a very warm, kind, compassionate, generous woman. But obviously today in the world, I am, you know, unbreakable, because I've been through things that would have broken
most
women. I've got my boundaries that, you know, at 56 years old, I've discovered boundaries. I know how to push back. I know how to say no. And that's been a real big one for me. I've been a people pleaser my entire life, not anymore. I know how to stick up for myself, and I know how to, you know, I'm unbreakable.
Something
I say, you know, I like to say, and you can bleep this out, I'm unwithable today.
With a ball, you heard it here. It's a new line. But tell me, what I'm really interested to know about also is being that being your nature over the years.
Yeah.
Did you feel pressure to have to conform, i.e., go to things like surgery, have things done, in order to feel I'm going to now fit in? I'm now going to make myself feel better on an aesthetic level to feel part of it.
Yeah, I think the shyness definitely was. I definitely had a lack of body confidence. I was very flat chested.
And did you have?
I was like a 32 double A, which is quite small. Yeah. And because I was very slim, you could say, oh well, if you're very slim, then that does look good. And I do love that look, you know. But although I was slim, as I got more into my sort of early 20s, I definitely started to gain shape around my hips, around my bottom, my thighs. You know, I've got an aesthetic build. I've got quite wide shoulders, narrow back. I've got, you know, some curve around the lower body. And so actually I was a little bit out of proportion. I can remember doing a swimwear shoot. I think it was of CNA swimwear. It was a very big shoot. Yeah, we went off to Lanzarote. It was a good one. I ended up sharing a beautiful suite with this amazing male model. It was a great memory. Mike,
an attractive male model for the CNA shoot in Lanzarote.
It was one trip of my life.
Whoa!
But I remember that, you know, you have to understand that when the images came back, I saw some of the, you know, the tear sheets, and they had obviously drawn the transparencies. Sorry, so I saw some of the transparencies where they'd marked and commented on my body shape. And I think
what did it say?
And it said something like, "Oh, big legs" or something like that. Because I you know, I think I've got an athletic body, so something like that. And I was like, ooh. And then I know the photographer, because the thing is, when I used to go into a casting, I used to go and have 3 minutes to mesmerize the team, and bamboozle them. And I was very good at going in last and sort of just, you know, making them, you know, having that charisma to get them to book me. Like, I was able to engage really well. I've always been good at connecting with people, so they would kind of book me without even really contemplating, you know, what it was. So I remember being on the plane and we're going to this swimwear shoot, and the photographer was just like, "Oh, you actually quite flat-chested to do swimwear." And I was just like feeling really nervous now that he hadn't really noticed that the fact is he booked someone who may not have been the right shape for this job. So I was really nervous. So after that, I definitely felt that I wanted to improve my body image for me and also for my work. So my agency had said, "We think we can book you more swimwear if you have a fuller bust." And also, you know, I had 2 front teeth kind of crossing over, which was causing a shadow. And I wanted to address that. So I had this sort of list of treatments that I wanted to do. And
so you had a boob.
So I had a breast augmentation at about 22,
20s.
and then I also had my first veneers around that age. And also and then another criticism from the agency. I remember doing a job and they said, the client's not happy because, you know, you could see like a bump on your nose and they're going to deduct some money from your job because they're going to have to retouch that. And I was just like, oh. So I had my nose straightened.
So this was in your 20s, but I think that's, you know, the pressure for people to do that then. But
I was happy with the results. Yeah, so I was kind of, you know.
But I also find it's what's great now is hearing all this about the you know, the sort of confidence you didn't necessarily have and the kind of wanting to kind of learn about the power of beauty, I guess. And now you have, you know, you are CEO founder of Amara & Caroline, the skincare, and you have a clinic. What made you decide to get into that?
Yeah, so I was kind of struggling with my skin a bit. You know, I'd been living in Switzerland and Monaco, and I'd had a lot of sun damage, and also like using harsh products when I was a teenager. You know, those kind of harsh cleansers and
the toners
that used to strip the skin.
It was the spot creams that used to literally annihilate your spot and the rest of your face.
I mean, my mum is such a good mum, but you know, she didn't really understand that probably we shouldn't have been putting Johnson's baby oil on our skin and going in the sun, on porcelain, or sitting on a beach all day in Portugal with no sunscreen or umbrellas. And the education just wasn't there.
No, it wasn't.
So also with the harsh products. So between having the sunbed at home,
I went on sunbed. I mean, it was really, there was no education.
I honestly think they should be banned.
Yeah.
There's no place for sunbeds.
Sunbeds are getting more popular now.
I think so. By the time I was 33, I had skin cancer. So I had a malignant melanoma. I've got an 8-centimeter scar in my inner thigh. It was very dangerous. The surgeon said if I'd come to him in 6 months' time with that, he would have given me 1 year to live. It was very, very serious. And I changed my life around at that point. So sort of being the ex-model, having the sun damage, when I was younger, and also living in Switzerland and Monaco, pigmentation started to come through. I had open pores and oil shine. And at this point, I'm sort of mid-40s, and I'm sort of sitting in Monaco with the girls, and they all had such beautiful skin. Maybe they were younger and had more education. And I was really slathered with makeup, and I was thinking, oh, I wish I could get my skin in a better place so I didn't have to wear, as much makeup, and where you could just let your skin do the talking and your beautiful features be at the forefront.
Yeah.
And so I came to a point where I wanted to start my own brand, because I'd been 12 years in branding.
Yeah.
Prior to starting my own brand. So I'd been helping to accelerate sales and growth for some big brands in beauty, fashion, and jewelry. So I'm a branding expert, and I understand how to grow a brand, and also working very closely with my ex-husband, and understanding his journey of growing his company from 0 to 315 million value. I was there with him through that journey, and I really learned all the pitfalls.
Well, I think you've done the packaging I absolutely love.
So from a consumer need, I wanted to create skincare that addressed the needs that I was having, which was open pores, wrinkles, pigmentation, oil shine, lax skin. And the issue with the products out there, the main issue is they don't absorb.
Yeah.
They just sit on top of the skins. They don't really do anything.
So did you go and talk to some cosmetic chemists and proper scientists to get the ingredients that were going to work?
I have a lab. Amanda Caroline has a lab.
You have a lab?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. So I set a brief.
So you in your white coat are there with your scientists?
I develop the products with my lab. I oversee all the brand development, product development, business development. I'm CEO and founder.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think it's great that you're able to you're a businesswoman, and you understand that being on Real Housewives of London is a great platform for you to grow your business. What was the reason, why did you go on the show? Was it for the brand, or did you just think this could be quite a little, a bit of a laugh to do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely we know that there has been some cast members, of the franchise that have done very, very well. Bethany. And Mercier did very well from the agency, and then Lisa Vanderpump did very, very well. So if we talk about 3 cast members that have really done well in business, so yes, I mean, we know today it's nothing to do with being a housewife. That is the name of the franchise since over 15 years. The franchise has grown a lot.
I think it's going to be, and it is, the best ride. Watching you are going to explode. When I first met you, I was like, this woman is going to do some really interesting things, whether it's with your brand, whether it's with you as a personality.
I'm doing what I do every day.
And on the TV
You're just
show.
going to see what I do. This is me. I'm bringing it, good, bad, and ugly. You'll just see what I do. And there's going to be some great storylines. Can you imagine? I'm going to be a grandmother on this show. I'll see my daughter get married. I will get married again on this show. Like, I got a lot in me. You're going to see me build my brand, build a flagship clinic in the very near future, and really, I'm on a growth journey.
I think you are.
And I'm on a healing journey. I'm on a growth journey, and anything's possible.
I'm going to be sitting there front row seat watching what's going on. But thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
It's been really
so nice to see you.
Really interesting things to talk about. So a massive thank you to Amanda Caroline Cronin. For more information, importantly, on her beauty range, visit amandacarolinebeauty.com. And you can watch her, obviously, on The Real Housewives of London, now on Hayu. That's it for True Reflections this week. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. You can find me across your social media by searching at True Reflections Podcast. You can also explore my Skin and Motion cosmetics range to help boost your confidence at skin.in.motion on your social media channels. I will be back next week with another celebrity to talk through their beauty experiences, their favourite products, and delve deeper into how the ideals of beauty shapes not just our physical appearance, but also the core of identities. Until then, have a lovely week.